Okay, let's spend a few minutes just describing function graphs. We're going to be looking at whether or not functions are increasing or decreasing, and whether they're linear or nonlinear. We'll look at some normal functions, and then we'll look at some crazy functions. So first, let's look at a couple of linear functions. We can see we have a linear function here, this red line, and we have a linear function here, this green line. And what we want to do is describe them both in their linear or nonlinear linearity. So both of these are linear functions. But what about this idea of increasing or decreasing? What does that mean? Well, what it means is as the input x increases, what does y do? So for the red line, you can see as x gets bigger, y gets smaller. The y value gets less and less, and this line is slanting down. So we would describe the red line as linear and decreasing. As x increases, y is decreasing. Now the green line is opposite. As x is increasing going this direction, the y value is getting bigger and bigger. The line is slanting up. So it's also a linear function, but we call it linear increasing because as x increases, y increases. Now let's look at a nonlinear function here. We know it's nonlinear because the graph is a curve. It's not a straight line. And it looks like sometimes it's decreasing and sometimes it's increasing. So when we have a situation like this, we have to describe what's happening at the different parts of the graph. So first of all, we can say this is nonlinear, and then we can say, well, when x is less than -8, as x increases, y is decreasing. It's kind of curving down like this. And then when x is greater than -8, the function is increasing. So this is how we describe those. Now let's look at a function that's a little bit more complicated, but still very, you can tell what's going on here. So as x looks like less than -15, we have a situation where it's nonlinear because it's kind of curving, and it's increasing. As x is getting bigger, y is getting greater as well. So we write that when x is less than -15, it's nonlinear and increasing. Then there's another part where as x is getting bigger, y is getting smaller, and it looks like it's doing that in a straight line, and that's between -15 for x, the input, and 15. So we can write that also. When x is between -15 and 15, we can write it in this inequality way here. When x is greater than -15 and less than 15, it's linear and it's decreasing. And then after 15, it looks like as x is getting bigger, y is getting bigger, and it looks like it's also linear. So we can say when x is greater than 15, it's linear and increasing. And that's how you describe functions.